Okay, in this lesson, we're gonna learn about special right triangles. And special right triangles is how they happen. If let's assume you have a equilateral triangle. Equilateral triangle means that all the sides are congruent. They have the same measurement, and every angle is 60, 60, 60. Okay, so the way we get a special right triangle is if you take that triangle and you cut it in half. So if you cut it in half, this is no longer 60, 60. What this will be 30 degrees. This will be 30, and this angle will be 90. And to make the math easier, we're gonna call this each side 1. Now because this got cut in half, this is 1/2, and this is 1/2. Okay, so if I focus on only one triangle, okay, only one of them, let's say choose to focus on this one right here. Then what we have? We have the following. This will be 90. You know what? I'm afraid that is a wrong triangle. Okay, so let me draw it. Let's say we have a triangle that looks like this. Now, the small angle will be 30. The medium angle will be 60, and this will be 90. Now this side is still 1. This side is 1/2. And what is this side over here? Okay. What I noticed is many kids don't like fractions. So to get rid of this fraction, I'm gonna multiply this by 2. So that makes this 1. But I also need to multiply these by 2. That'll make this side 2. Now using Pythagoras theorem is a squared, one of the legs, plus b squared, the other leg, is equal to the hypotenuse square. Now, give me one of the legs. Let's call that 1. The other leg, I don't know. So let's call that x squared. And the hypotenuse will be 2 squared. So we have 1 plus x squared is equal to 4. Get the x by itself, minus 1, minus 1. These are opposites, they cancel, so we have x squared is equal to 3. Now get the x by itself, square root. When you do it to one side, you must do it to the other. Square and square roots are opposites, so you have x is equal to radical 3. So the special triangle 36 and 90 is 1, 2, and then this will be radical 3. Okay, so all 36 and 90 triangles will be similar to this triangle right here. Okay, so you have 30, 60, 90. The larger side is 2, the small side is 1, and the medium side is radical 3. Okay, now there's another special triangle, and that is called the 45, 45, 90 triangle. And the way to make the 45, 45, 90 to start with a square. Okay, now square, all the sides are congruent. They have the same measurement. And to make the math easier, let's say that each side is 1, 1, 1, 1. And all the angles are 90 degrees. 90. Okay, so like before, they cut this square, they cut it in half. Now, if I take one of the triangles and put it over here, we know that this side is 1, this side is 1, this is 90. Now this is not 90 anymore, this will be 45, and this side will be 45. Okay, now I know the legs. What is the hypotenuse? Well, use Pythagoras theorem again. One of the legs square plus the other leg square is equal to the hypotenuse square. One of the legs is 1, the other leg is also 1, and the hypotenuse we don't know. Let's call that x. So 1 square will be 1, 1 square will be 1, and over here we should have x squared. 1 plus 1 is 2, is equal to x squared. Now get the x by itself, get rid of the square. Square root to do that, what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So you have radical 2 is equal to x. So we know that this is radical 2. So if you have a 45, 45, 90 triangle, the congruent sides or the legs will be 1, and the hypotenuse will be radical 2. Okay, so 45, 45, 90 triangle, you have 1, 1, radical 2. Okay, so I have an example for you. So hopefully with this example you'll be able to do the homework. So example number one, only example is the following. Find the missing side lengths. Leave your answer in simplest radical form. Okay, so I need to find A and B. So they gave me a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Okay, I need to find A and B. So now the thing you're supposed to memorize is the following, and I recommend you memorize the triangles. Okay, so I'm gonna do the 45, I'm sorry, 30, 60, 90 right here. I'm sorry, okay, let me try this. 30, 60, 90. So the 30, 60, 90 triangle looks something like this. And the 45, 45, 90 will look something like this. So the small angle is 30, the medium one is 60, and the other one is 90. Now, the longest side is 2, the shortest side is 1, and the medium side is radical 3. Now, this is 45, 45, 90 triangle. The congruent sides or the legs are 1, 1, and the hypotenuse will be radical 2. Okay, you need to memorize that. Okay, so this triangle is similar to this. So if they are similar, that means the corresponding sides will be proportional. So for example, I like to start with what I'm solving for. Let's say I want to find b. So I'm going to do b. Now this side corresponds to 1 over here. Now give me a side that you know over here. You know 5 radical 6 divided by 2. And this side corresponds to this over here, 1. Now you cross multiply. B times 1 will give you b. 1 times this will give you 5 radical 6 divided by 2. And that is the answer. I found b. Now I need to find a. Now a, so with the a. Now the hypotenuse over here corresponds to the hypotenuse over here. So this will be radical 2 is equal to, aside that I know this, 5 radical 6 divided by 2, and this side corresponds to this over here, is equal to 1. Okay, now, like before, cross multiplying, this will give me a, and then cross multiply this right here. You have radical 2 multiplied by 5 radical 6 over 1. Now, if that's a fraction, make this a fraction. Multiply across. This times this will give me 5 radical 12. And 1 times 1 will give you 1. Now, simplify radical 12. Factor of 12 will be, let's say, 3 and 4. 3 is prime. Factor of 4 will be 2 and 2. So right here, this becomes square root of 2 times 2 times 3. The numbers are circle. Now, 2 times 2 will give you 4. Square root of 4 will give you 2. We don't know the square root of 3, so that would remain 2 radical 3. So the answer here will be 5, and all of these became 3 radical 2 divided by 1. Now 5 times 3 will give you 15 radical 2 divided by 1. But anything divided by 1 will give you 15, will be the same, 15 radical 3. And that's the answer already. So the key to these problems is you have to memorize these ones right here. Now what I want you to notice when I use the upper one, all of the upper measurements came from this triangle. And all of the bottom measurements came from that triangle. So what I did is this side B corresponds to 1. That's why I got B over 1. And then the side that I know, this side corresponds to this side over here. Okay? And for this is the same way. This A corresponds to this 1. So I'm saying this A corresponds to radical 2. So that's why I got A over radical 2. Now this side corresponds to this side. That's why I got that. Okay. Try the problems. Remember, if you have having a hard time understanding, you might watch the video over and again. And then after watching the video 2 or 3 times, if you have problems, call me, and I can come by and help you. All right. Thank you.